welcome to Super Achievers Making New India, powered by Voicewhat. I'm Sunanda Jayaseel, and this is a series of conversations we are doing with some of India's most innovative businesses, talking about what makes them super achievers. Tonight, I'm featuring two such companies. First up is Acer India. I will also be in conversation with Shri Bajrang Power and ISPAT Ltd. The Indian IT services sector is expected to return to high single-digit revenue growth in 2021-22, galvanized by higher demand for digital transformation after 2020. A pioneer in this industry, Acer is seeking to identify micro trends that have the potential to open up an ocean of opportunities and transform it into a lifestyle brand from being a product brand, through creating cross-industry business collaborations and incubating subsidiaries to create renewed growth in the PC industry and beyond. I'm being joined first up by Harish Kohli. He's the President and MD of Acer India. Harish, good having you here on the show.
Thank you.
Let me start today's interview and conversation by asking you, what are some of the key trends that you have highlighted and seen in the light of the COVID crisis?
During the last 1.5 years, digitization seems to have taken the front seat. That's the biggest change which has happened. Be it at the consumer level, because each one of us was expected to work from home. We were supposed, as a student, I was also supposed to learn from home. And of course, with spending all the time at home, you look forward to doing some bit of an entertainment which could go towards as far as the gaming is concerned.
All right.
Those were the three things which started to happen around the digitization, and that means the IT hardware part of it. And that has been a big jump. And when it came to the businesses as well, let's say the small businesses, even they felt the need of being connected to their shops, etc., so that if they were not able to go out because they happened to be in another city, they were connected with as far as their own shop or the business is concerned. I think that's been the phenomenal change. And if I really have to say for the IT industry, we were never able to explain the real application usage of a IT hardware outside the professionals.
Sure.
The last 1.5 years of the pandemic time actually have given the application to the normal household as to why an IT hardware product is required for the household.
The future of hybrid learning has arrived much sooner than perhaps it was being anticipated. And I want to really ask you, Harish, if you could, through this conversation, help our viewers understand why perhaps the personal computer is being seen as much better than a smartphone, for instance, when it comes to learning.
The smartphone usage was for a casual internet digitized usage, because you are only able to do a data usage. However, when it comes to a creation of a data, you obviously are requiring a IT hardware and not just the mobile phone.
Okay.
First of all. The second point is that in a casual internet usage that you do spend maybe half an hour, 1 hour at one stretch, but you never spend 8 hours in front of the screen in case you are a student. And in that particular case, you always look forward to a screen which will be bigger than those 5.5 inches, etc. And that is available to you only when you're using as far as the IT hardware portion is concerned.
All right.
For a serious usage part of it, which is like the education, a child definitely is requiring the laptops rather than, or a desktop with a larger screen size, rather than as far as the smartphones are concerned. And as you rightly said, that I think the dual use education pattern is something which is going to stay on, and which also means that as far as the teacher fraternity is concerned, they are able to use the laptops for creating the lessons and exams, etc. And they also are able to use it within the classrooms when the children are going to be sitting face to face to the teacher. So it's ultimately the IT hardware which seems to have gained the advantage of the pandemic, because that is what rushed as far as the education on the digital platform is concerned.
You have embarked on what I understand is a dual transformation journey. What can you tell us on that?
Acer has completed 44 years now, and it's in the 45th year of its existence globally. And we were a manufacturing company with a very strong DNA of our research and development. And we continuously worked on as far as that IT hardware portion is concerned.
Sure.
However, moving forward, we decided and we said that beyond the IT hardware part of it, we need to look at some of the allied businesses too as a part of the IT hardware space itself. So the company over the last 3 or 4 years' time have started to venture into that. And some of those companies are in the area of cybersecurity or in the distribution part of it, or selling these overall solutions, etc. So those companies actually are now already public listed in Taiwan Stock Exchange. On one side, we went into this expansion, but we also, on the other side, went into the area of getting into the lifestyle products. And in the lifestyle products, more so during the course of this pandemic, people have become much more closer to as far as their health is concerned. And they want to be working proactively rather than reactive.
Okay.
So some of the products that we have over the last 2 years launched are in that space. One happens to be the Acer Pure, which you are able to get the bacteria-free, virus-free room freshening, which can be done through as far as that product is concerned. We also are planning to introduce in India the ozone sanitizer for water, which actually means you are able to have a bacteria-free water available to you at the exit point of the final tap in the kitchen. So there are products which we are adding towards the lifestyle space itself, and that's how the Acer is decided to venture into moving forward.
You were just saying that you've spent about 4+ odd decades in this space. What are your strengths? And could you use this answer to really talk to our viewers about how one goes about identifying their strengths and, consolidating and solidifying really their strengths and their leadership position in the market?
Acer has a headquarter out of Taiwan, a very small island nation. However, when it comes to the IT hardware domain is concerned, it is the country which leads all the market segment for development, and we belong to that country. And in that country, you have research and development and the product development are the two main areas on which companies put their resources into. And over these 4+ decades, we have continued to develop as far as the products are concerned. We have always said from the very beginning, and we say even today, Fricks technology is something which we introduce. And we are always the front runner as far as the introduction of an IT hardware product is concerned.
Okay.
Now, that's been something which we continue to be. We are present, of course, globally. We are there in 160+ countries. We've been in India for the last 21+ years now. And with the DNA on research and development and manufacturing, we made sure that when we came to India way back in 1999, we put up a manufacturing plant out of Pondicherry in India, and from there only we started to work and come into as far as the Indian market space is concerned. So net and net, the latest of the products that we are able to introduce, and first to market it in the country, and within the country we today are actually catering to almost about 20,000+ pin codes in the country through our e-store, which we started only last year.
Harish, let's talk about your Make in India plans. And you've made some recent announcements as far as manufacturing out of your Puducherry facility. What more can you tell us on that? And also, if you can talk to us about why Make in India for you as a company is important.
Manufacturing, as I said, to us is extremely important because we in our DNA have R&D and the manufacturing aspect of it because of headquarters being out of Taiwan. And the reason why we came up with the manufacturing to start with was more of preparing. We actually worldwide work on a model which is more closer to a pizza, which would actually mean that there is a base kitchen which also produces as far as the base of the pizza is concerned. And then you are able to put in the flavors depending on the regional or the country specific taste that you want to do. So it's exactly the same part that we started to do way back in 1999 and thereafter.
All right, Harish, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us here.
Thank you very much, Sunanda, for having me in the show.
Let's look into a short break on that note. When we come back, I'm in conversation with Shri Bajrang Power and ISPAT Ltd. I'm being joined first up by the MD of the company, Narendra Goel. Mr. Goel, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the show. Let's start today's conversation by asking you to elaborate for our viewers about what really has made you a super achiever. What is the secret behind the success of the company?
In the last 2 decades, Shri Bajrang Power and ISPAT Ltd has emerged as one of the leading integrated steel plant. In the country, there are many factors contribute the success of the company like us.
Sure.
Strategical location of the unit, that lower cost of transportation and regular availability of the raw material and providing the optional efficiencies, backward integration, utilization of all grades of iron ore throughout the beneficiation and pelletization plant, lower the cost of raw material, and with the new technology we are adopting always for the betterment and reduce the cost for the best manufacturing process and this leadership team and skilled laborers. This is the behind the successful story of this company.
And let's talk about the impact that the pandemic has had on raw material prices across industries, including, the one that you operate in. Steel prices, of course, and the raw material really has been impacted by the pandemic. Just talk to us about, what 2020 was like for you.
India is the second largest steel producer in the whole world. The growth this sector is largely driven by the availability of material and the cost-efficient labor. From the government has lead to growing demand of the steel, the production and increase in the last 2 years. So during the pandemic, the integrated steel plant with the backward integration plant has performed well and were largely beneficial to the country.
What are some of your expectations from the government as far as the industry is concerned that you think will definitely benefit the steel manufacturing industry, Mr. Goel?
Central government as well as the state government should expedite all the clearances like forest clearance and the environment, so as the avoid the delay being caused for the mining projects and raw material availability. So this is the main main problem with the raw material with upcoming projects.
Okay.
And second thing, lot of low-grade iron ore fines has been dumped inside the mines area of sale as well as the private mines owner. For this speedily dispose, a separate policy should be implemented immediately. If this will be implemented as early as possible, then availability of raw material for the iron ore and steel making is very supportive for the in future.
Sure.
What our is target of our country 2020 2030, 300 million ton, we will achieve very fast. But for exploration of virgin mines is further the government should think about the development of infrastructure, and dedicated road and rail corridor should also be expedite to facilitate transportation of minerals from pit head to manufacturing facilities. This is the main bottleneck for the upcoming steel production in our country.
All right, we have to let you go, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
We are at this point being joined by Sandeep Goyal. He's the CFO of the company to talk to us about the operations, finances, etc. Sandeep, good having you here on this show.
Okay.
Let's talk about the financial implication and perhaps the financial hit that you might have seen due to the pandemic. And, even as you're talking about that, give us a sense of how you managed to overcome that.
So in 2019, when COVID hit our country and the world, it was a complete lockdown declared by the government of India, and as a compliance to it, even we had to shut down our manufacturing facilities. So for around 21 days or closer to a month, our entire operations were shut down. So that was a big setback for us at that point of time. But as a management, then we didn't give up, and we thought of better ways to handle this situation, because this situation was never forecasted, or it wasn't. We were not planned for it. So we had series of meetings online, and then we decided to utilize this time to explore what are the best possible ways to overcome the situation, because as you know, being into steel industry, we have so many overheads that needs to be taken care of, and a plant, if it remains for shutdown for a long time, it definitely brings a big setback to the company.
Okay.
So as a part of handling the situation, the first thing was we wanted to have labor station inside the factory, because as you all know, there were laborers migrating to their hometowns, and without laborers we can't operate. So we created facilities for laborers to stay indoor. We tried to provide them all the necessary health care, and made sure that no one in the company was compromised in terms of health. And these laborers being inside, obviously we couldn't run our plant, but we did a lot of maintenance work, which otherwise would have consumed maybe a month later on during the year. So we saved that period of 1 month during the lockdown by doing all necessary maintenance.
Sure.
On the other side, we also tried to evolve new strategies to sell our product. We utilized that time to reach to our consumers online. We also explored international market, because the movement from factory to the port was allowed by the government. The exports were happening. So we saw that as an opportunity where we can create market for our products globally, which otherwise we were not too focused on. And that helped us to reach international market. And unfortunately, the year that went by, fiscal 21, had the best EBITDA for our company.
Shri Bajrang Power in ISPAT put its frontline factory workers at the top of its priority list during the pandemic, continuing to pay those who are unable to work because of the COVID-19 virus, and offering other assistance to employees who had been impacted by the virus. The company made sure that in order to avoid labor migration, it had separate labor stations inside the factory, along with ensuring the vaccination of its laborers, its staff, and their employees. What's your advice for small businesses about financial management in a time of a crisis? Whether it is the one that we're in the middle of, or any other sort of crisis, how should you be managing your finances?
We learn from our experiences, and the pandemic has taught us couple of things in terms of financial management. First thing is my advice, and what we learned from this situation was to take care of the spendings. Whatever expenditure we were making, we looked into it, revisited it again, made corrections into it, and it was also important for us to plan our capex very wisely. So all the bigger expansion plans were reviewed and looked after. So first step towards the financial management during the COVID times was to have a very strict control over the expenditure part and the capex.
Okay.
And also we put in place a lot of systems which can control the expenditure. So that was the primary focus. Also we revisited the budgets that we had made. We did a lot of correction because pandemic was never into our consideration. And so we revisited our budget, made a lot of corrections, and adapted to the situation at that point of time. So all of these small things helped us in overcoming the situation.
All right, Sandeep, good having you here on the show. Thanks for your time. Completely out of time on this episode, but if you have any feedback for us, our contact details coming up on your screens as we speak. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.